Check.
We are on. Oh, wait.
Oh, shit, I already blew out a candle. Help me.
Come on.
I'm gonna laugh a lot.
Dude, we had a whole... Hold on. Oh, shit. Let me get this. Okay. Dude, we had this whole thing set up, and you already blew out a candle. Okay. Let's get this going. Hi, everybody. Austin, say hi. Are you going to be nice?
Yeah.
Are you going to be sweet to everyone?
Yes.
Cool. Are you going to participate in the storytelling here? Or are you just going to criticize everything that I say about the story?
Both.
Okay. I think for the most part, also, you're going to have to help me read these because I don't have my contacts
Austin,
in.
shut up. Aston, ew. Elijah said you're really BuzzFeed.
Okay.
Hey.
He didn't say I'm really BuzzFeed. He said BuzzFeed Unsolved.
You can read it. You don't need me.
I barely can read it. Everyone, well, not everyone, but most people here should know what this one is going to be about because
Cal said something.
I've talked about this live stream before and like what it's going to be.
Summon Michael Jackson. That's what he said.
I can do that. I have the Ouija board. It's back there.
Dude,
do you want me to get it?
Cal's stuff keeps going up so fast I can't read it.
What is Cal saying?
I literally just
Too many. Not enough. We should have gotten some black candles, honestly. Okay. Austin, do you want to introduce what we're going to be talking about, or do you want to do it?
You.
Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to this whole thing. I'm not even gonna try and read all that. Actually, that's a lie. I'm gonna keep trying to read it because
paranormal cracktivity.
Thicko mode.
That's what I said.
Nobody cares. Kel. Elijah said that nobody cares what Kel is saying.
Oh, I'm trying to read it.
That's rude. That's fucking rude. Okay, so here's the thing. A long time ago, let's see. I'm going to be completely distracted by this. That's why I wanted it to be over on your side. It's hard not to see what people are saying. Yeah. Are we good? Can everyone see us? Can everyone hear us? Is everything good to go?
Who cares?
Good point. All right, what are we talking about? Today, we are going to be discussing some events that happened in my past. Some things that have gone down when I was younger.
Sketchy.
No.
It sounds like some 6ix9ine shit.
No, oh, come on. God damn it. There's some shit that happened when I was younger, okay? And I need to air this out. You've heard things, you've heard rumors and speculations, and there's been some things.
My side of the story.
Yeah, you guys haven't heard my side of the story. Actually, you know what? That's true because you said shit on the podcast about me.
Yeah.
And some stuff that happened when I was younger, and I'm here to clear the air. Because I'm not an asshole when it comes to this thing. In particular.
Hey, someone asked how my day was. It was really good. Go on.
That was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I was younger, some people may know this, some may not, but I used to dabble in the art and the crafts of, what would you call it?
Oh, you weren't doing art. You were fucking around.
Okay, so when I was younger, I used to play with Ouija boards. Ouija boards.
No, it's Ouija boards.
Ouija boards. I used to do that when I was younger, and Austin and I used to do like ghost hunting shit. We used to go out to certain places. Is it good? We used to go places and we used to actively seek out certain paranormal events and activities and encounters and things of that sort. So I guess today we're going to be discussing some of the times that happened, and more specifically, a thing that happened.
Cal doesn't believe in ghosts.
Very early on. Neither do I, actually. Something happened that happened very early on that Austin still gives me shit for and may or may not still kind of come up every now and then. But
see, you're just
whatever.
too irritating for me to do haunted stuff with now.
But why?
Because you're like, I don't believe, but then you're gonna talk about like I was possessed.
Okay, so here's the thing: we're gonna discuss whether or not I was possessed when I was younger, but it's kind of questionable.
What camera do you use? Elijah wants to know.
Elijah wants to know. This is the Canon EOS R.
What's your favorite portrait lens? Elijah wants to know.
Probably the 85mm Canon L series f1.4 with image stabilization.
Broadcast Eliza Winslow wants to know what potato this is filmed on.
This is I can't sell. But Jewel says to break out the Ouija board.
I'm literally, if you do it, I'll leave because I don't ever want to do that with you.
I'm getting frustrated that it's going in and out of focus because there's more than one face for it to focus on, and I'm assuming it's jumping back and forth. Anyway, it's been 16 minutes. Actually, it's been like 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, including the intro, the
you mean
countdown.
the fucking 10-minute countdown?
Okay, so I guess where should we start?
How are John's rats?
Are they good?
The rats?
Yeah, how are the rats doing? Someone wants to know.
Oh, they're good.
Okay, the rats are good. The thing is that I don't instigate, and I'm not an asshole when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's just I had one bad experience early on where I was being kind of pushy with some spirits, and there was something that happened.
I can't do this if you're gonna lie.
Okay, see, that's the thing. I'm not lying. And that's why we're both here,
Pushy
to tell both
is the
sides of the
lightest
story.
way to ever say anything. He antagonizes everything that you shouldn't ever antagonize, and it wasn't a one-time thing. It's an every-time thing. If we're ever in a group, he's the one that's like, fucking do something, show yourself. And like...
Okay, I'm usually just trying to encourage any sort of activity, because if we're trying to break out the Ouija board, and if we're trying to make any sort of conversation happen, you gotta encourage them, you gotta bring them out.
There's a difference. You don't have to be disrespectful.
I don't think I'm disrespectful, but I will tell you about the time that I was. Okay, so let's start. How old was I? I was like...
Oh wait, hang on.
17?
Elijah and Cal might date.
Oh, hey. Wait, I can't see what the responses are. Is that you or me?
Me.
Ooh. What?
Nothing.
Is it Kel?
No, it's Elijah.
Oh, god damn it, Elijah.
Alright, what are you doing?
I was gonna tell the story.
Go ahead, I'll just interrupt if I get an answer.
Okay, awesome. Or if Elijah texts you in the middle of the stream again. Okay, so how old was I? I was like 16 or 17 or so.
I think you were younger. Because I think I was 16, so I think you were 15.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're like way older than me. So
that's why I'm taller than you.
Oh yeah, because you're like 1 year older. That means you're one inch
taller.
Yeah, exactly. So I was probably around 15 or so, and I had a girlfriend at the time that had been what? How
dare you?
I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was over at her house, and her cousin was there, and her cousin's
so
friend
you're hanging out with two girls
was there.
Flex.
There was
okay.
And her cousin was a guy.
Hanging out with guys and girls, fucking flex.
And her friend was there. Her friend and her cousin were kind of like, I don't know, seeing each other, whatever. Not important.
What?
But anyway, we were hanging out, right? And we were bored, and I think my girlfriend at the time, we'll just call her C. I don't want to say her name. Do you remember?
You remember which one this was?
The one that starts with a C. The really, like, one.
What does that mean?
You know. I'll tell you later.
Oh!
Yeah,
no,
see? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we were over at her place, and she had suggested that we play with a Ouija board because, you know, why the fuck not? You're bored, and there's nothing else to do, and we're just like, all right, let's do it. But see, the thing is that at the time, I had never used one before. I had never played with one. I had never had any sort of experience with it. So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this shit. So,
he wants to know if her name was
do
Celine. Selin.
It was not.
Oh, Selin.
Selin.
C, like Kellen.
Oh, like Kellen, but with a C?
Yeah.
It was not. Thank you though. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And the thing is that everyone else in the room has like experience with this except for me. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Was
What?
it Cthulhu?
Is that Elijah?
No.
Oh, okay. I feel like just Elijah this whole time is just gonna be fucking trying to take this thing like off the fucking rails. Is that him?
Probably.
Elijah!
No, it's Cal.
Both of you!
He said big sloppy penis. Real mature.
Thanks,
Grow
man.
up.
I said, you couldn't hear it, but I said before this whole thing started, I was like, I swear to God, they're gonna take us off the fucking tracks. I know it. Anyway, so they decided to pull it out, and it was cool. They had gotten the whole thing started, and they had set up the candles. They had set up the light candles. They had set up the dark candles. And it was, it was whatever. This shit was just like, right?
I wasn't there.
Do you remember, like, what happens, though?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to try and speed it up to that. But it's hard, because there's a lot of different factors that play into it.
And I keep interrupting.
And that, too. And Elijah keeps interrupting.
Yeah.
God damn it. And I just saw bust down. And I swear...
C for bust down Tatiana.
Okay. Hannah, go to sleep. So we got started. They were kind of explaining the whole process and the whole point of the light candles and the whole point of the dark candles and the whole, like, let's try and contact, late relatives that, that they've talked to in the past. And it was cool or whatnot. I think she like spoke to her grandmother or something, and it was like whatever. But the thing was is that I was very skeptical at the time. And I wasn't really buying into much of what was going on and all the questions that were being asked. And of course, when there's a fucking Ouija board and everyone's moving their hand around, you don't really believe that it's being actually moved or anything like that.
It depends on who you're with.
Well,
yeah.
do you believe that it's usually moved around?
Depends who I'm with. It's like a 50-50 thing.
When was the last time you used the Ouija board?
With Elijah.
Really?
Yeah, it was at his
Does
house.
Elijah push it around?
I don't think so. No, I don't think he does.
What happened? Did you have some weird shit?
It wasn't that active. It was like a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as they talked about before. Like, because they have these like haunted dolls at their house, and we brought those to the table because they're like not enough's happening. Then they brought those to the table.
Oh, really?
It sucked, yeah.
So there wasn't enough activity, so y'all brought haunted dolls.
Yeah, we were like, fucking show yourself.
So that's cool. That's cool. That you would never do like any sort of like active like haunted doll
There's
thing.
there's a difference. There's a huge difference.
Okay, then did anything happen then?
A little bit more.
Okay. So the story is pretty tame, like for the most part. It was a lot of just back and forth on like, okay, we're getting answers and this is happening. And there was a time where I was still very skeptical about what was going on. So they had...
Is this the house where you said, oh wait, Cal's on the toilet. Very cool. Is this the place where you said you saw like a fucked up looking kid sitting behind a chair?
No, that was the second time. I'm talking about the very first thing that happened,
yeah.
the shoulder thing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a whole other story, which I may just fucking tell you guys on a different day. Because if we can't get past this one story, this one event. So, I think it was pretty known with everyone that was there that I was a little skeptical about the back and forth with the whole answering and the, what is it called? The thing that you move around? The planchette. And, for the most part, they were like, hey, like, if you're not interested in this, you should let us know because it's not good to be involved with this if you're, like, a skeptic or if you don't believe in what's going on. And I think you've told me the same thing before in the past, that you're not supposed to be, like, active and engaged with it if you don't believe.
Well, that and, there's a bunch of things, like, you shouldn't ever do it, like, alone.
Really?
Yeah.
Why can't you do it alone?
Because you're, like, hella not supposed to.
Oh, but why? What would happen?
I mean, I've never done it, but that's just one of the things they've said not to, like, do.
Huh. Okay.
So I think you, like, give it too much of your shit as opposed to, like, sharing between people or something.
Okay, so you can both get, like, 50% haunted each.
Sure.
Okay. And so, C at the time was like, okay, well, here, let's do this. Why don't you put out your hand, and what I'll do is I'll ask this spirit to embrace you and try and make their presence known, so that you know that there's someone actually here or something actually here with us. And so I did, and it was whatever. And when I did, it was a very, very like cold and like very cool and chilling and very like numbing sensation around my hand and kind of like going up my arm. But at the time, I didn't really think anything of it,
Right.
because realistically, it's like if you have your hand out like this for like an extended period of time, then your hand is probably going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be a big deal if it goes numb, because all your blood is fucking going down.
Right.
So I was like, it's like I kind of feel something, but I'm not really feeling anything that much or anything, substantial. I was like, okay, well, then we'll try it again. And as the time went on, I was getting a little impatient. I felt like it wasn't moving along fast enough. And what they had explained to me was that if you get rid of like the lighter candles, and if you have like designated dark candles there. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to see what Elijah said.
Oh, okay.
You can keep talking.
Is it about this?
Probably.
You passed it?
He said, okay, all of you shut up. This story's actually good.
Okay. And the thing is that I'm super skimming over some stuff. Wait, does Elijah know what happened?
No.
Okay, because I didn't know if you ever brought it up.
No,
that
I've
your
just been like, no,
asshole friend.
Actually, I think I may have talked about like the end of this story. And
Okay.
I'm like, yo, this is some stupid shit. Because he's a dick.
Okay, so my hand and arm started going numb, and it was getting like chilled and all that stuff. I was like, whatever. As time went on, I got impatient. I was like, okay, well, I really want to like have some sort of encounter. If we're gonna do this, then let's fucking do this. And they had said that there's designated candles for each thing and whatever. And so essentially they blew out all of the light candles. What is it?
Someone said, Austin, wear your white sweater to Orlando, but I thought it said, Austin, wear your white sister to Orlando. And I was like, oh, shit.
I see that comment all the fucking time.
Really?
For that white sweater, the guest one.
I'll never do it.
Okay.
Ever.
So, and it's because people keep asking you for it.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'll never do it. Like, I probably would have just naturally done it.
Okay. We blew out all of the white candles, and all that we had left were the black and dark red candles that were designated for more, I'm not gonna say evil, but I'm not gonna say like,
You can say it.
for the lesser kinded spirits, whatever. And when we did that, it was me and her cousin, which is the guy. I forget his fucking name. I don't remember. He was fucking weird.
Colby.
I think he went to like jail like a month later or something like that. And
It's Colby.
anyway, him and I were the ones that were like, all right, let's fucking do this, but they weren't about it. But when it actually happened was when certain shit started to actually go down that I was more interested in, because it's like, okay, like events and things are starting to happen, such as talking to the spirit and finding out that there were a few of them in there with us. I can't remember all of the different names. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we'll get to that here in a second. Was that Elijah?
No, it's Cal.
God damn it, Cal! I thought you were gonna be the good one. Once we blew out those fucking candles, we were talking to the spirits that were in there, and there was a few that kind of deemed themselves to be, I guess, less than friendly beings. What are some of the things that would happen when you know that's like, oh, this is bad? Like, you're not supposed to let this happen?
When it counts 1 to 10, or if it tries to go all 4 corners of the thing, or do the whole alphabet.
Yeah.
Like, just, like, going straight through it.
There's
Okay.
also, like, specific names that it'll spell out, too.
Okay. Oh, that actually is for another story. But so a lot of that shit would happen. And whenever you play with Ouija boards, you know that you're asking the very basic questions like, what's your name, age, how did you die, and things like that. And there was this particular entity. I'm going to skip all of that and go straight to this one particular being that made himself known. And his name was
Jason.
Jason. And some of you may know about Jason, some of you may not, but I'm going to tell you
John's boyfriend.
about this being that was real friendly with me for quite some time. And
That made it sound like a boyfriend.
yeah.
Thing.
And I mean, he was with me everywhere I went.
Yeah.
To be fair, he went to the movies with me.
Okay, so what you are saying is that okay, it's frustrating to me that you say, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that. And you're like, there was a ghost at the movie.
I feel like it was all circumstantial. Here, we're getting to that. We can debate it here in a second. I'm trying to get to that point.
Why are they all
though.
saying pet cheetah?
I don't know. Oh, because Jason Statham, you know, like the lyric. in the song.
They're reaching.
I
Jesus,
know, I
man.
know. But what we're getting at, and I'm trying to desperately get to and describe,
Right.
was that there was this being named Jason, and he had spelled out his name for us. We're like, okay, you know, tell us a little bit about yourself. And he was being really sketchy and being really evasive with a lot of the questions that we were asking, not really answering. And basically, throughout the night, as we asked more questions and as we tried getting more information from him or it or everyone else or anyone else that was in the room with us, there was basically a more general sense that things were getting a little bit heated. Like the energy in the room kind of just dropped, and then we were getting like this very, very tense and like overwhelming feeling. Like, have you had that before?
Yes.
You know what I'm describing? Where it just like,
Everything just feels heavy and shitty and like.
yeah, you just feel
It's
very
a-
bad.
Yeah, it's like a mental humidity.
Yeah, I mean I guess that's a good way of putting it. If you felt it, then you know exactly what that feeling is like. But up until that point, I'd never experienced it before. So when it got like super hot in the room, there was just like this wave of just tenseness. This guy was saying things like beware and, you know, like look out and shit like that. And it kept going to the fucking number board and it kept saying goodbye and doing all of this shit. Apparently a lot of things that you don't want it to be doing. But realistically, I was certain that everyone was just moving it on the board,
Right.
and that none of it was actually
Were you
happening or
moving
going
it?
down. I was not. I actually wanted to see if anyone else was moving it, so I barely had my fucking hands
I
on
actually
it.
wind up taking my hand kind of off it.
Yeah, because you want to see is anyone actually like pushing this,
Right.
and I'm not trying to have any sort of influence.
Because if you're only playing it with like 3 people, you can tell if
it's
like,
being
if
pushed in a
you're-
certain area.
If you're kind of like lightly kind of not tapping it, but like this kind of thing, you can see like where it's coming from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And but the thing is that you're supposed to have your hand on it because it's supposed to speak through everyone
Right,
there
right.
and all of you, right?
Yeah.
So needless to say, I wasn't really buying it, but Jason supposedly was getting angry with me, and we felt that, or at least they could tell that, and so they were asking very specific questions, being like, "Hey,
Elijah doesn't have
are
lice.
you
Ronnie
upset?"
has lice. Go on.
It's like, "Hey, can you, can you tell us what you're upset about? Like, what's wrong? You know?" And of course, naturally, what are you gonna do?
Don't worry about it.
No,
Keep
I'm
talking.
gonna worry about it.
Why? I was just paying respects.
For what? Oh, why? Why? Do you know what you just started?
Go on.
No. I had tried encouraging the spirit to speak with us. I tried saying, being like, hey, like, if there's anyone actually here, reach out. Let us know, like, of your presence.
Is this
here.
actually how you think you sound?
I swear to God, that was what was basically going down.
And you keep saying all these words like basically.
Because I'm trying to summarize, but I can't because I keep getting distracted.
Why don't you just not look at it?
I can't.
This is for me to look at.
Jesus.
It's a lot of F.
I know, he was very upset with me because I wasn't believing what was going on. And throughout the whole experience, I was like, make yourself known. Like, if you're here, I want to hear from you. Or show yourself. Basic things like that. And I remember there was this one particular moment where we were sitting doing the whole thing, and my legs, like my whole waist down, went completely fucking numb. Oh God. My legs went completely fucking numb, and I couldn't feel them. And I blamed it on just sitting down for just however long we were there for. Have you ever had that whole
What?
thing where you like have any sort of like numbness or any sort of like tingling feelings when you're doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And again, it was something that at the time was like, well, that is kind of weird, and I can't really make too much of it, but at the same time, it's like, it's because I've been sitting this whole time, I'm losing whatever, I need to stand up and stretch my legs, or whatever. But then, he came back and spelled out the words, beware. So he went through the whole fucking process, you know, on the Ouija board where it's like B-E-W-A, well, whatever. And then, of course, whenever when you're seeing it spelled out, you know exactly what it's going to spell before it's done spelling. So I, of course, roll my eyes. I'm like, okay, beware. Ooh.
This is like the first honest part of this entire story.
I was like, oh, beware. And of course, I think everyone else is just messing with me, being like, John, you shouldn't do this. You should believe, or, you know, you should play ball.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Just go.
And you know what they're spelling. It was spelling out B-E-W-A. And I was like, okay, like, everyone's fucking with me. What am I going to beware of? What the fuck is going to happen? And by the time they had finished spelling out the word, everyone was just looking at me being like, you don't know what you're doing right now. Like, this is going to go in a bad direction, and you're not even going to know it. And it's going to be too late before you realize like what's going on. It's like, okay, well, I mean, let's see. Like, what's going to happen? And as we continue asking this thing more questions, he went back and said, beware, like multiple times. And at that point, we're like, okay, beware of what? Like, what should John be aware of? And as the planchette started moving around, it started spelling out W-I-N-D. And by this point, you know, it's like, okay, I know what it's going to spell. And then it finishes
the
with...
wind. It's like the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, exactly. W-I-N-D-O-W, right? I was like, window? And they all look at me, and a very specific answer, too. It's like, beware. It's like, beware of what? And it says window.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And it's very, like, beware of window. And they all look at me like, John, you need to stay away from all windows. Like, what are you doing?
No, it autocorrected. Fuck.
To what?
There we go.
Otter. Why?
Go on.
What is that?
Just keep going.
Oh, is that a fucking, like, twink thing?
Yeah.
God damn. Was that me?
Huh? No. Keep reading.
Okay.
I'm not reading. What the fuck am I talking about?
Okay. It's getting late.
I need water.
Windows.
Yeah.
What's funny is that we're actually getting to the parts where the bad shit starts happening.
Yeah.
And oh, god damn it. Window. Why is this not focusing? What did you do?
What the fuck are you talking about?
It always focuses. There we go. Okay. So, window. Everyone's like, stay away from windows. Like, if I were you, we should avoid all windows for the rest of the night.
Mm.
And in this moment, and I need you to focus here, because I told you this.
I know.
And in this moment, I'm thinking to myself, like, already, like, this is too fucking, like, out there. It's too outlandish. It's ridiculous. I'm not buying it. But as they're telling me, do you want more candles?
Yeah.
And as they're saying, John, you need to stay away from all your windows, or all the windows or whatnot, I look up to them and I say, why? Where did you get that from?
I've been saving it.
I swear to God.
For this moment.
This is the moment where shit goes down. God damn it. Oh, you can do ASMR too if you want. This is like one of those condenser mics. No. We'll do it afterwards. I look up to them and I say, what is going to happen? Or like, why should I be afraid of windows? But as I'm speaking this fucking sentence, literally before I could finish my thought, from across the room. I want to say probably like from how far we are from that wall right there.
The one they can't see.
No,
Oh, they can't see it.
They can't. Why are you doing this to me?
Sorry.
Okay, so there's a window across the way, about like 9 or 10 feet away, and you remember those like really like those older
The
blinds?
blinds.
Yeah,
They're,
the
like, metally.
the really metallic ones where if you like run your hands
They
through
like
them,
bend. It's like
Yeah.
the ones at the
It's like
portables in your
pink-
school.
Yeah, exactly. The really loud, obnoxious blinds. Her house had those. And when I was asking the question, why should I be, or like, what about windows? Oh, shit.
No way.
Hold on. It didn't die, did it? Fuck, okay. That's see, I'm telling you, okay, whatever. We're not gonna get into that. Please just hang in there, everyone. When I asked the fucking question, what about windows? Why should I be afraid of windows? Those blinds just completely fucking fell. And imagine that you took a hand and you just completely ran your hand through all of those blinds and it just made a fucking sound. Mm-hmm. Except it was very loud, very shrill, and it caught all of us by fucking surprise. And so we all go and look, and by the way, there's no one else home. It's literally just us there. We go and we look at the window, and the blinds that are now moving. Yeah, I'm like starting to shake now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm like really like starting to really remember it.
Wasn't the mom home?
No one was home.
Because I thought she came out.
No, that was the second story. That's with the kid with the face. That's a whole other thing. When we were all looking at the window trying to be like, okay. In my head, I'm like, that's fucking weird. That right there is kind of strange. I don't know how to explain that exactly. And as I'm focused on it, I kind of froze in that moment because I'm like, okay, like it would startle you, even if it's not ghost related. If the fucking blinds are moving,
So you're saying you get the proof?
I didn't get the proof, but I was concerned and confused more than anything else. Get in here. And I was confused more than anything else. And as I'm looking and thinking like that's a weird fucking coincidence if it's a coincidence. I don't know how to explain that logically. And so I turned to look at the group to be like, "Hey, what do you make of this?" But by the time I turned, no one was fucking there. I was completely by myself upstairs in the game room area and no one was around. And keep in mind all the lights were off except for fucking candles similar to this. And I had this just draining feeling of just like I was hot and cold at the same time, where I like felt like I had chills, but I also had a sweat going on. I was just like, all right, this is fucking weird. And then I shout in the direction of the hall that leads downstairs. I'm like, hello, where are you guys? What's going on? And I hear everyone from downstairs. They all apparently fucking bounced when it happened. And they all like are calling, what's going on up there? Are you okay? I'm just like, yeah, I'm fucking fine. I'm confused. Why am I by myself? And what happened with the blinds?
You're confused.
I'm confused because I don't know what's going on. That would be confusing if it's the first time ever having something like that happen to you.
You have no. So you're playing with a Ouija board. You say, show me some shit. And they're like, beware of the windows. And then some shit happens with the windows and everyone freaks out and runs away. You're confused as to what's happening?
Yes. I was, it was hard to make, what is he saying? There's a ghost moving behind you. Okay. It was very jarring to say the least. At that point, I decided to take a break, go downstairs, and we just kind of chill in the kitchen, and we're just, hanging out for about 30 minutes or so, and just trying to make sense of what was going on. They were explaining...
John would not survive a horror movie.
They were explaining all of this stuff to me, like, hey, this is what's going on, this is why this is happening, we need to do this to remedy the situation. They're like, we can't leave it upstairs, we have to say goodbye. we have to close out this whole encounter and session, or else this whole place is gonna be fucking stuck like this with these entities in here. And so I was like, all right, whatever you want. But they looked at me and they're like, but please, whatever you do, like, whatever you do. God damn it! You see what I deal with?
You see what I deal with?
It was like, what's it like touring with Awsten? And then it's just
yes,
just the whole time,
constantly.
Just always.
I'm gonna get 2 of those for the next tour.
Please don't. You mean the one that's happening in like 3 days?
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Okay.
They'll fly it to my house.
So we haven't even gotten to the worst part yet either. So they're explaining what happened. What do you say? Nut? Is it Elijah? Nut just a million times.
He said he was like, you do not nut. Whatever, you don't nut.
I can't get into it right now.
I can. Let's talk.
Okay.
Let's talk nutting. Go ahead.
We'll circle back to the nut. We go back upstairs because apparently you have to finish the whole thing. Like you can't just let it do it
out. You can't just leave.
So the idea was to go up there, light all the what is it, like the good candles? I don't even know what you would fucking call them. All the ones that are meant to protect you and keep you safe from all the bad stuff. And we do that. We try and like close everything out, and now my memory is kind of hazy at this point, but I do remember there were some other things that happened. I remember more specifically that as we were closing out and saying our goodbyes and being like, who else is here? Whatever. I remember just having this very strange like sensation and feeling in my arm, specifically my left arm, where if you've ever fallen asleep on your arm, which, pretty much everyone has.
Relatable.
Yeah.
Relatable
right?
content.
You fall asleep on your arm, right? You wake up and your whole like arm and hand feels like the fucking TV static where you can't feel anything, but it's also numb and it's just kind of like flopping around and shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
My arm was kind of feeling that way.
Wait.
Look at all the nuts that are being put in there. Oh, god damn it. I don't like this. What was that?
I don't know. No, it was a blocked number.
I don't like that.
Camera's not working. Fake phone calls.
My arm...
Where's the holy water?
My arm started getting numb. And I started feeling like very strange tingling sensations, and kind of like whenever you have like restless leg syndrome, it's like my hands like couldn't stop moving. I was just like trying to stretch and make it just stop and kind of like get some blood flow back into my arm. But of course, during that time, I'm not making anything out of it. Like it's just like my arm is feeling kind of strange. We're finishing up this whole thing, whatever. But as we continue to close out and finish talking to whoever, it started getting more and more prevalent, and it started getting like to the point where I wasn't able to really ignore it because my arm was just kind of bugging me so much. And it got to the point where, here, scoot forward.
I can't tell if you're just like you ignore every single sign of the most obvious shit
so
just to be annoying, or
I'm telling you, at the time, have you ever driven so long where you have to like stop and then get out and stretch your legs?
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck, my legs were starting to fall asleep. My ass is numb and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I felt pretty much the whole time. I was like, my legs are falling asleep. My arm is feeling numb, whatever.
Yep.
But it got more and more intense as the night went on, and scoot forward, until it got to the point where I felt like something... Imagine that something is grabbing the back of your arm, right? Similar to like this, right? Like you're trying to push or pull someone it's like towards you or whatnot.
What if you like this is where everybody found out I've got like mom arms? Where you like pull it and it's just like skin.
Ew. You get that like pulling like sensation, and I was just like, man, this is really annoying.
My arm is numb. Someone's pulling on my arm.
I was like, hey guys, this is really strange, and I don't know what to make of it, but I'm just my arm is giving me like some issues right now. I can't really describe, but it feels like it's numb. It feels like something's like pulling on it and it's whatever. And that's pretty much when everyone was just like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Well, I don't know. Like it just feels numb and it feels like this or whatever. It's like falling asleep, but it feels like something's like pulling on it and I can't. It's like restless." And everyone was like, "Okay, well, let's finish this," which we did. We said goodbye. We did the whole thing. And at one point, my girlfriend at the time looked at me and was like, "John, like, something's wrong. Something's wrong with your neck." And I was like, "My neck?" She's like, "Yeah, it's like all red and stuff like around here." And I was like, "Okay, well, that's weird." She's like, "Yeah, it looks like it's like irritated or whatever." I was like, "Okay, fine. I'll go to the bathroom and take a look and see, why my neck is red or whatever." And so I get there, and I'm looking at my neck.
Just keep
Keep
talking.
I'm looking at my neck, and I notice that it gets more red, more down towards my shoulder. And as I pull on my shirt to reveal it, I'm noticing that my chest and shoulder area is very, very red, and it looks very irritated, and it's very irritated. And I'm like, okay, this is strange. So, oh no, I hadn't gotten there yet. So as I'm pulling on my shirt, looking at myself, pulling on my shirt, just looking at myself, like I casually do, I noticed that there were lines and there was certain markings. Well, I didn't think that there were markings at the time, but I saw a bunch of lines, veins and shit like that on my shoulder. And I was like, what the fuck is that? So I take off my shirt, which I'm not going to do now. I'm not going to demonstrate that.
I think all y'all should stop watching now.
For the sake of our viewers, I'm not. God damn it!
Just relax.
I hate that your name is fucking highlighted because you're fucking verified or some shit.
Yo, Ghost is sucking on your neck.
So it's every time I look, I see it and I can't escape it. I take off my shirt and I
Smaluma.
Jawn got ghost hickeys.
Ew.
I raise my shirt, I look in the mirror, and I have these welts, and I have these lines that are starting to form, and it just looks like a big jumbled mess on my shoulder.
But again, it's not because of any ghosts.
At this point...
It's because his mom doesn't believe in vaccinations.
Okay, I swear to God, I looked at it, and his name was Nathan, that's what it was. I was like, "Hey, yo, Nathan, come in here real quick." And he was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Does this look weird?" And he looked at it and he goes, "Oh, fuck." And I was like, "What's going on? What is it?" And he was like, and he just completely just bolted. He just got out of there.
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, cool. Here I am by myself, shirtless, looking at myself in the mirror.
Straight chilling."
And he brought the girls into the bathroom and he was like, "Y'all need to see this. What's going on?" And they look at me. Specifically, they are looking at my reflection in the mirror. And they look, and my girlfriend at the time just covers her mouth, screams, begins to cry, and then runs away.
Very cool.
And I was
but that was a normal thing for her to do when she looked at you, right?
I feel bad. I was like, I feel bad about this whole fucking... Daphne, that's a fucking... Okay.
Yes.
I'm feeling really bad about everything. Not because I think some paranormal shit's going on, but I feel bad because I'm, making everyone else feel shitty.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this all means, exactly. So, whatever. And so her cousin and her friend were there being like, "John, do you see what that is?"
He's like, "It's coincidence."
And I was like, it looks like a bunch of fucking lines. And there's like, "No, look at what it's doing." And I was like, what it's doing? So we look at the mirror. I'm looking at my shoulder, and I'm really fucking focused on it. And hands at my side. I'm not doing anything to irritate or instigate or anything. And as I'm looking at it, a shape begins to form. And as that's happening, they start saying like, oh my fucking god, oh my fucking god, oh my god, oh my god. And it finally like clicks with me. It clicks with me that all these like lines and markings and scratches that it looked like that were forming on my shoulder were taking the shape of a star. Which, you know, like, that's cool. You know, star, like, I was like, all right, that's tight.
Coincidence, what does it mean?
I was like, all right, that's tight. It's like a star. And I was like, I don't know. And as I kind of really
keep it in frame,
looked at it more, you're like blowing them out. I started to see that it took the shape of a star. What is he saying?
No, this is my dad.
Oh, okay. After I realized that it took the form of a star, a fucking circle began appearing around it. Which was pretty much at that time was like, all right, game is over, pretty much. I don't know what to do. Her cousin Nathan was just like, look, man, this is really bad shit. He's like, I know of people who have gone to bed and they have these hallucinations about like demons and shit, and then they wake up with like scratch marks all over them. Someone had like lettering like etched into their arms and their legs and shit like that. He's like, this is very bad shit. This is very, very bad news. I was like, all right, well, I don't know what to do about it now. And he's like, there's really nothing we can do about it now.
Is this the gay episode of Supernatural we deserve?
Why? Is it because Awsten's a twink?
Dude, you're okay.
We're not getting there yet.
No, you can't just say that and then get away. Okay, so first off,
we haven't gotten to your part yet.
I'm so much hairier than you. Out of either of us, you're the twink.
Wait, are twinks hairy?
No, that's why I can't be a twink. I'm Greek as shit. If you know my legs. You can look at my arms right now.
Yeah, my legs are pretty hairy too.
It's not
Don't
like
burn
that.
them.
I might.
Let's see.
Dude, like literally.
Yeah, that's
fucking
crazy.
Seriously, yeah.
We're not gonna go there.
We'll have a twink off in another.
So what are you, an otter then? Is that what that is?
I think.
Or are you like a
I'm not a wolf? No. Those are bigger.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not like Captain America looking.
So at this point, it's
but
too
I'm also
late.
not even gay, so it doesn't work.
It's not. It's too late. There's nothing we can do about it. I have a fucking pentagram etched into my shoulder.
Elijah's just like, goodbye.
Twink. Let's see. Where's he at? Goodbye. I have a fucking pentagram etched into my fucking
I think
shoulder
we're all
here.
twinks.
And we go back into the game room. We're like, all right, well, I don't know what to really make of this. Oh, I didn't even say the most important part. Or not the most important part. A very significant part about how you view it, how you can see it. What's he saying?
Nothing.
God damn it, Elijah. Being fucking sneaky.
I'm texting my fucking dad.
I don't believe it. Unless Elijah's your dad, I don't buy it. I was too far gone. I had a pentagram etched into my shoulder. And one thing that I did notice was as I looked down, because of course at the time I was looking to see like what it looked like in person, there was nothing there. Like I could look down and see maybe it was red, but very specifically, the only way that I was able to really see it or make anything out of it was if I looked at my reflection in the mirror in the bathroom, which of course was a little bit strange. But when I went out to the game room, my girlfriend at the time wouldn't come near me. Her friend wouldn't come near me. And her cousin was like, yo, this is bad. I think we should just like call it a night. I was like, all right, well, this was fun. Thanks for having me over. Thanks for suggesting this game. This very fun,
right,
and very innocent board game. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we should do it again. We should do it again sometime. No, it was bad. She like wouldn't talk to me. She was like, I'm sorry. I can't right now. I was like, fucking cool, great.
Yeah,
this is fun. I'm glad.
You deserve it.
I'm really glad we did this. Went home, went to bed, and that was the whole thing. But see, here's the thing. And don't get fucking mad at me. After all of this, and I skipped a whole bunch of shit, believe it or not. After all of this, I still was just, I didn't know what to make of it, and my mind was still trying to process everything, and I couldn't really buy into the, like, hey, there's a fucking pentagram on my shoulder, this stuff happened, I need to tell Awsten. Did I call you, or did I just, like, show you? Like, I don't even remember how I told you.
So here's what's up.
But, before, hold on, one more thing.
Yep.
The next morning, after all that shit went down, I remember specifically going to my bathroom and looking at myself in the mirror and being like, I want to make sure that this shit, like, is actually there. And I remember looking at it, and it wasn't there. So I was just like, okay. I don't know what to make of this. I'm not exactly sure, you know, what went down, whatever. I'm still very confused about the whole experience. And I'm pretty sure I just ended up going over to your house just to, like, hang or something.
Mm-hmm. No, you were staying over because your dad was
Oh, that's right!
Your dad was going out of town.
You can take over now.
And so, yeah, so your dad was going out of town. You were going to stay with me for, like, it was, like, almost a week or something.
Uh-huh.
And, so that's when you you had already explained it to me, but then I was like, okay, well, show me then. And, because you were like, every time I talk about it, it, like, reappears and, you know. So I was like, okay, do it. And I literally watched this shit happen in my living room.
Here we go.
And
Watch what happened.
I'm getting there. Took his shirt off, explained it, blah, blah, blah. And it just, like, you see the circle and everything starting to appear and, like, just lines and shit. And I was like, and I was watching, too. I was like, he might be fucking with me. I'm watching for, like... And so then I was, you know, I was just trying to see where it was and see if it would talk to me, but it wasn't doing any of that. And so yeah, I watched it appear on his fucking chest, and I was just like, and we went and looked in my kitchen bathroom mirror because it would look, you know, darker in there or something.
Yeah, it's like more prevalent when you look at it like through a reflection. Like I said that I was like, we have to look in a mirror because that's every time I see it, I can see it in a mirror.
Mm-hmm. We almost got Chuck E. Cheese today.
We were considering it. We were highly considering it.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead.
So I was like, well, that fucking sucks because now you're here for a week.
I was like, thanks, man.
And this is when he had hair down to like here as well. And so
like now.
Yeah, kind of like now.
Except it was black.
And it was longer.
Yeah, it was bad.
And there were certain moments. And now the thing is, I saw that like it was like a very absolute thing of like, oh, for sure, that's what's happening right there.
Like beyond a reasonable doubt.
But again, you don't believe in ghosts, cool. And
that's
so
not it.
And so there were certain things where, and I know that this sounds like fucked up, and I can't prove this because it wasn't a definitive thing, but there were certain moments. I don't even know if he's talked to you about this where.
I don't think so. I haven't heard your side of the story yet.
Okay. What Twinkie cheese? Jesus Christ. Where John's face didn't look like John's face, except it was all like in like momentary, like when he would turn and like, or like when he turned to look at something or whatever, and I would get like, you know, I'd be looking at him and see him do that. There were a few times where it just didn't look right, and I was just like, fuck. And I don't even think I brought it up when it happened.
What do you mean didn't look right?
It didn't look like you.
What did it look like?
Is it like distorted in a way?
Oh, it seemed distorted in a way, but like subtly, you know, not in like a his eyes are down here kind of way, but like, there was just something where I was like, that's not right. But again, that's not a thing I can like, where it's like a definitive, like, I was looking at your face and it was like this and this, like it was never like, I'm staring at you and getting a clear look. It was just like flashes of that, and I'm like, this is fucking awful. And so here's the thing. This is why I don't want to do shit with him. Not just because of this, but because you can see how he's acting now, and he's still downplaying it. And he still doesn't see where he went wrong here.
No, I do. I acknowledge it. I acknowledge that I was being a little bit more...
You're still saying it wrong.
Okay.
Asshole.
Okay. I was being very fucking belligerent.
Yep, there it is.
I was being very excessive.
Mm-hmm.
Obnoxious.
Specifically,
Obnoxious.
Daphne, you weren't even there for any of this, okay?
No.
Then how is she right?
Okay. Specifically because I had never experienced this before. This was my first fucking encounter. I had no idea what etiquette I was supposed to have when dealing with fucking demons and ghosts and shit like that.
But you're still kind of like that.
Not entirely. I'm real. Like, you haven't done it with me recently. You haven't. You just haven't. When was the last time?
2017.
No, it was not 2017.
That was 2016.
When
it was. We were at your sister's apartment.
Oh, Joel.
Were we?
Joel said something in the chat about that.
Oh, well. Wait, we were at my
Yeah, fucking argue it.
Wait, when? Oh, on her bed. Like when it was like...
In the living room.
Wait, I'm thinking of a different time then.
Living room.
Okay. I don't remember that exactly. I really don't, because nothing really happened that time.
Sorta.
It was nothing definitive, like we're saying now. It's like, oh, I had a feeling.
Okay,
or
well,
I had
yeah,
this or
pentagram
whatnot.
wasn't scratched into your fucking
Well, exactly,
skin,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's kind of like what you're saying with the whole face thing. It's like, it's not definitive. I can't say this happened or whatnot, but yeah. But either way, it was my first time. I was also like 15, 16 maybe, because it was around that time period. And which is like 10 years ago, by the way. So I'm not gonna be fucking like, you know, like come possess me and shit.
But like 2 years ago, you were.
I don't. The only way to really know for sure is for us to do it again, and I can show you that my Ouija board etiquette has completely changed over the years.
I'll leave.
So that showed up, and the key points were A. It showed up without any sort of interference, without any sort of like instigation or anything like that. Like you could, without messing with it, he was able to see it show up and appear from absolutely nothing. Neck and shoulder look completely fine. But like he mentioned, anytime I would talk or anytime I would tell the story, or I guess anytime that I would talk about Jason in particular, I would get that same numbing feeling, and I get that same restless feeling, like someone's pulling on the back of my arm. Like my arm is starting to lose circulation, and my hands and fingers start getting all tingly. And anytime that I would start talking about it, that would happen. And so when I would talk about it, Awsten and I went to the bathroom, looked for it to appear, and sure enough, it would just right in front of us just come out of nowhere. It would literally just come up from nothing. And specifically, we had to look at it through a mirror. Like, do you remember what it looked like whenever you looked at it directly?
What do you mean?
Like when you would look at it.
Well, I said, who are you gonna call? I said Nutbusters.
Nice, that's
okay,
a good one.
Thanks.
When you would look at it in person, what would it look like?
Pentagram. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm trying to describe the difference between looking at it in person and looking at it whenever we were like looking through a mirror.
It seemed darker in a mirror. I don't know why.
It just seemed more prevalent.
Yeah.
And since then, Awsten won't fucking play with a Ouija board with me anymore.
No, don't play with me.
It's making me kind of sad. Those are fun days. Those are good times. But is there anything that I missed?
Things for me are now kind of going well, and I don't want to bring in your stupid ass energy just because you're reckless and dumb with all of this. And so I don't want to risk anything like that. If I do any haunted shit with anyone, it's people that I know are like safe with it.
Didn't we do something recently where we had like fucking sage and we like did like the whole thing? I don't think it was at Vanessa's. It might have been at my old apartment.
I saged the Airbnb I was in.
Oh, well, no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. But either way, so because of all of this, all the events that I just described, which was really just one event, and then like all the times that we were like talking and looking at it, but because of that occurrence, and because of these things that Awsten would see, like every now and then when he'd look at me, he's like, "You don't look like you," or whatever. He was convinced that I was possessed. And the thing is that there's a completely other event that happened like a week later, or like a couple weeks later, that definitely don't have time to go into.
It's already 10.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't have time to go into it. Which, that's when we did the fucking seance. I told you about that. I went over to a friend's house and we
No,
did an
well,
actual. I'm
say-
not starting
save
about
it,
it, but we
save
did
it.
a seance, and there was a lot more shit that went down.
Mm.
And I would say that one was way worse. But I didn't go home with the pentagram etched on my shoulder. So there's at least that. Did I get possessed at one point? Who's to say? It's not like my fucking voice changed. I wasn't like
I'll say.
fucking Emily Rosing it down the stairs and shit.
I don't know if you were like full on. I don't think you were full on possessed, but I think there are certain degrees of it, and I think you were one of them.
So when you looked at me, you didn't recognize me.
Imagine if you hadn't like closed that like gate between like the board.
Who knows
Like,
what would have happened? Who knows what would have happened? But
You'd be dead.
let's see. Is there even any point in looking at this?
No, they're all just saying whatever Elijah says, I think. Oh, your camera went out.
God damn it.
Click it.
Come on. Okay. We're still good, I think. Yeah.
Cool. Oh shit, it went away. Oh, it's just because of the delay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the story. Awsten. Was there anything that I missed?
I mean, the point of all of it.
What's the point?
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's true. You shouldn't fuck with that shit, because then sometimes bad things can happen. Let's see.
How do you pronounce John's last name?
I don't know. How do you pronounce my last name?
It's Ratio.
What is it?
Ratio.
Yeah, but say the full name.
John Ratio.
Yeah,
John Ratio.
there. For everyone wondering, there it is. What is it?
Ratio.
Yeah. At John.
Ratio.
Okay. All right. Well, we need to wrap this up. I know you got to get going, but that was essentially the time that I may or may not have gotten possessed. What did I miss? Because this whole time I've just seen really just bad shit.
A lot of twink, a lot of F.
What did you do?
Yo, I only was like a small portion of this.
Yeah. Like that?
Yeah.
Looks like Elijah's not here anymore.
Oh, is it?
Well, everyone's saying, where is he?
Well, he left, then I gotta go.
Yeah, I guess so. What's the point then?
Right.
Yeah. Wait.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh wait, look, there he is.
Mm.
That was a lot of work. You all better have. I appreciate that. Yes. Actually, Awsten got to see firsthand how much work actually goes into setting this up. This is not
We lit like 9 candles.
This is not
It
an
was
easy
crazy.
thing and not an easy thing to do. But I wanted you guys to know about this. And I wanted you guys to know my side of things before Awsten tainted everyone's image of me when it comes to paranormal stuff.
You didn't even disagree with anything I said.
Because it's complicated. But that all being said, it was a good time. We should do it again sometime.
Mm-mm.
Or how about, why don't we do it somewhere where you're not worried about like a hotel room where we'll leave and you don't have to worry about it being like
That's
like a
fucked up
haunted
to
house.
other people.
We'll close it out and shit. Cool. Can you spare 5 more minutes
For what?
for anything else? Like any sort of Q&A, anything that anyone would want to go over.
Wait, why 5 minutes?
Why not? Just something short?
Oh, I see. I didn't know if there's like a certain thing you were trying to hit or like.
No, not really. This is actually going to end up being one of my shorter streams. Yeah. Everyone say gay right now. Elijah, why? I just want to know why. I'd be okay with it if you just said why, because now it's happening.
Because, dude.
Okay. Let's see. Someone wants to know if the pentagram still appears. I don't know if it still appears.
No.
I haven't checked.
Why don't you go look?
I haven't told this story in a very long time, and I'm not going to take off my shirt. It's been a while. I haven't checked, so I can't confirm or deny it. But either way, let's see. Well, how do they do that? How do they make my name red? Are you gonna procrastinate right now? What does that even mean? Because I'm evil and a cuddle. What is this? What is he saying? Cult leader. What's Elijah's cult?
You can't talk about it.
Fuck. Can I join it?
No.
Why not?
Ah,
Come on. It's not fair.
Come to Mexico? Question mark. Are you gonna go?
I could.
Okay, cool. Are you possessed?
I'm not.
Jonathan?
Maybe. Yes. Okay.
None of these are questions. Hang on.
Yeah.
ASMR.
Sounds like the wheel on.
Everyone's saying stop, but no one's actually leaving the thing. Y'all leak this ASMR on LimeWire.